Buxton has had a long history of quarries and mines, but it's 2025 and a lot has changed since the first hole was dug here. With that, industries come and go, and on the 31st of October, Topley Pike Quarry was another one left to the history books. So today we're going to go through a brief history and future of Topley Pike Quarry in the 62nd episode of the Buxton Barrowman. The quarry is situated at the end of Deepdale where it meets the A6. Now I'll talk more about Deepdale in a bit. The quarry opened in 1907 by a company called Newton Chambers & Co. They were here to quarry Buxton's high purity limestone. But within the same year they were taken over by BLF, Buxton Lime Firms, who themselves were then taken over in 1919 by a company called Brunner Mond, which I think I'm pronouncing that right, who specialised in making soda ash for the soap, textile and glass industries. In 1926 came a big shake-up as Brunner Mond, Noble Industries, United Alkali Company and British Dyestuffs Corporation were all merged to create ICI, Imperial Chemical Industries. Buxton was the beating heart of the lime division, with its headquarters being Winster Place in the centre of town. But it appears in this merger that Topley Pike was left out and not taken on by the giant ICI, but instead a company called Derbyshire Stone, which was incredibly tedious to try and find anything online about them. But from Derbyshire Stone, they were then taken on in 1968 by Tarmac Roadstone. Topley Pike held on to its iconic 70s up until 2000. It was about this time that it lost its sidings, as well as Tarmac and another firm, Aggregate Industries, was purchased by Anglo American. Topley Pike changed hands internally from Tarmac to Aggregate Industries, who held on to Topley Pike up until its closure about a month before this video goes out. Topley was an interesting quarry. With its tight positionings within the valley, it had peculiar sidings and roadside silos right here on the A6 for lorries to collect the stone on a main road, which, well, I daren't think about the health and safety meeting you'd have nowadays for that. Of course, it's always a shame to see an industry go and jobs lost, but it isn't quite the end of the story for Topley Pike. There's still a few bits of work to do before it is left to rest. Back in 2018, plans were approved to remove the waste that between the 70s and 80s the quarry had dumped into Deepdale, to the south of the site. The waste includes thousands of tons of processed material such as sludge from the dust suppression systems, which had raised alarm bells that the waste could leach into the nearby River Wye, causing irreparable damage to the ecosystem here. You can tell the water's already quite limey, looking at how light blue it is. On top of that, Deepdale, which is lovely by the way, is an SSSI, a Site of Special Scientific Interest, and a specially protected conservation area, as it's home to wonderful wildflowers with weird names like Nottingham catchfly, as well as being an attractive habitat for kestrels and jackdaws. Along with removing the waste, the quarry itself is due to be flooded to become a lake to further encourage wildlife into the area. So Topley Pike has had a long history and it's not quite over yet. Although due to be completed this year, the restoration works are still ongoing. But soon it'll be left to nature to take over the scar of man. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching. A huge thank you to all my supporters on Ko-fi, and until next time, ta-ra.